Good Saturday morning, everyone. Okay, I am up and Adam, well, let me say this. I did get up early, about 4:30, and then I went back to bed about 6, and I woke up about 10, and obviously I needed that sleep. So when I first got up, I walked outside because I just, wanted to see, and I love to look in the direction of the sun and get some sun in my eyes, but the sun was already way up, so I couldn't look at it. But I just began thinking, and I had been thinking about it yesterday, what would I cook today? So I've got a chicken soup recipe that I'm going to show you later. So I'll be back on here later today. But this is quiche. I love to cook quiche because it's so easy, and my husband loves it. And I'm adding a little extra to the quiche today just because I had time and I had time and I had the inclination. All right. So what I've got in the pan here is some. Let me turn you around here. Some butter, about a tablespoon of butter. I've got green peppers. I've got red peppers. I've got green onion, and I've got red onion, and I'm putting it all in there together. That was just a piece of a red onion that I had left over. I like that for color, and the carrot really is for color as well. But I've got my stove top on about medium, and I'm just going to saute these things. I'm going to probably break up a little bit of that carrot just because I don't want it's longer pieces than I really want in my quiche. So I'm just popping it in half right here, just to. You don't have to do that, and I probably could have put a little bit more onion in there, but usually if I'm using green onion, I don't put quite as much, because this is Quiche Lorraine, all right? Well, I don't know. Let's just say it's Quiche Nancy, Quiche Grancy. Let's call it that. Let's call it Quiche Grancy. Hey, Doretha. Hey, Debbie. Hey, Kathy. Doretha, let me know how you're doing. Yeah. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to get this a little bit sauteed because I don't mind it being a little bit what you call fresh in the quiche, kind of crunchy. All right, so this is fresh thyme. Chives. It grows in my flower bed years ago in my pot out here. So I'm just going to cut up some little fresh chives and put in here. I just go out there and break it off, and it just adds a little bit of different flavor to it. You can of course buy this at the store, but I like to go out and cut it out of my flower pot. All right, and then I'm going to do some. I'm going to leave some probably to put on the top. So I'll just stop with that. How about that? I'm going to lay it right back here. And so I've got my little pan here to cook in. A lot of times with quiche, if I'm in a hurry, which I'm going to do that this morning, I put it in the microwave. Now you may not want to do that. You may just want to cook it totally in the pan. I am going to spray it with a little. I'm going to spray my dish with a little bit of olive oil, just like that. Yep. And I could use butter, but all right. Then I'm going to dump over in here. I've cooked a pound of sausage, but I'm only going to put half of it because I'm going to make some soup later, and I'm going to put it in that soup. So I wanted to use it for that. Now look how pretty and colorful that is. Let's see. Hey, Dima, good to see you. I love chives. Have them in my flower bed. Awesome. Yes. Hey, Cindy, good to see you this morning. Okay, so I'm going to turn this down a little bit. And what I've got in my trusty measuring pitcher, I call it that, is I've got 6 eggs. Now that's probably more than you would use, but I like to have it left over because James will eat it he'll eat it till it's gone. So I've got 6 eggs. I've got about a half a cup of cottage cheese. That's just to add more protein, and it makes it kind of smooth. I'm going to add in about a cup of heavy cream, about that much. And I'm going to start whipping. I'm going to pop these eggs, and I'm going to start beating up, because this is what's going to go. I'm going to pour all this in here. This is why I get this big thing like this. And I just beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it. So 6 eggs is, 36 grams of protein in the whole thing. And then, of course, the meat is protein. And the cottage cheese has some protein. But the more you whisk it up, the fluffier it's going to be. So that's kind of, I want it to be fluffy. And I've added salt and pepper to this. And I've added a little bit of Italian seasoning. And you can make this with 2 eggs. You don't have to use all these eggs. But like I said, I wanted to have some left over. So then I've got like 3/4 cup of a blend. It's like that cheese grated blend. Parmesan cheese and mozzarella cheese. Now, Quiche Lorraine usually calls for Swiss cheese. I'm not a big fan of Swiss cheese. James likes it, but he won't know the difference. He won't say, did you use Swiss cheese? He won't say that. Right. All right, so there we go. That is beat up, and this is ready to go. So I'm just going to put this right over in here like this. Y'all, you got to get you one of these pans. Oh, my gosh. These are the best pans in the whole wide world. I mean, I feel like I'm deserting my grandma and my mama for not using their cast iron skillet. Let me put this over here. Because that's what I always used. But once I found, actually my daughter Leah introduced me to these pans. And once I started using that, that's all I can do. So I'm going to stir this all up together. Here's my dish that I'm going to put it in. And I'm debating right now if I'm going to actually, I've got the oven on 375. You could have it on 350. Doesn't really matter. Some people put a little bit of nutmeg in their quiche. I'm not doing that, okay? There's so many things you could put in here. You could put cilantro. You could put, let's see what else. You could put thyme. That's what the Quiche Lorraine recipe calls for. But I'm just going to pour this on in, and probably not all of it. I'm just going to put this much. There we go. And I'm going to save the rest of this for a little bowl over here, just separately, just because I want it to cook a little faster so I can show you. All right, let me do that. All right, there we go. See how pretty that is? It really is pretty. And then if all your cheese gets clumped in one place, you just kind of push it around. Now, what I would do is take this chives, and you could do this after it's cooked. You don't have to do it now. In fact, I think I'll wait, because sometimes after it cooks in the microwave, I will stir it just to get the cooked part. Yeah, I'm going to pop it around here so I can take you over to the microwave. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to go about 2 minutes. Still got my jammies on. I just put my sweatshirt on because it was so cold in here. Okay, so that is an easy peasy recipe. Don't forget the salt and pepper. I think I told you about that. Let's see who we've got here. Maureen, Sandy, Linda, Teresa. Let me know where you are watching from. Rosetta. Yep. Sue, Karen, Constance, Jane, Kathy. All right, that's good. All right, that's my oven coming up to temperature. Okay, so here's what I wanted to talk to you about. So you're seeing on Facebook, if you're scrolling through Facebook, so obviously you're seeing a lot of people talk about longevity. Even this week, Dr. Peter Attia was on 60 Minutes. I hope if you didn't watch that, you'll watch it on YouTube. I love Dr. Attia. I've been following him for years. Here's what you need to know about him. Okay, from Kansas City. Good to see you. So it's a little earlier out there for you. And the time changes today. But you know what? I have to embrace it. I have to embrace it as much as I dislike it. I have to embrace it because I go to work at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I'm not going to be able to push that sun back. It's gonna go behind the horizon at 6 o'clock for sure. So, but, what was I saying? I was talking about Dr. Tia. So I've been following him for several years. He's probably near the top of my favorite doctors that presents online. And my husband and I were just talking about supplements and something he was taking, and I was telling him about a sleep supplement that Andrew Huberman, which he's another one you should follow. He actually has a lab where he researches things, and he promoted that AG1. All right, here we go. I got to go over here and let me show you what's going on here. So I did that for 2 minutes, and I am a little bit short. And what you're going to see, let me show you why I do this. It's not hot. Okay, you see it has cooked around the edges. Whoops, let me turn you down a little bit. It has cooked around the edges. So if I just pull those to the middle, just like that, pull that to the middle, and let the soupy part get to the outside, when I cook it again, this is just a quick way to do quiche, because, you know, otherwise this would take about 30, 35 minutes in the... I'm going to pull all of that cooked part to the middle and let the uncooked part get to the outside. And then, honestly, in about 2 more minutes, this will be mostly done. So there we go. All right, let me put this back in here. I'm going to go 2 minutes. So that's 4 minutes, which is definitely... Yep. Oh, can't do that. That's 21 minutes. I'm gonna do a minute and 30 seconds. Okay. All right. So let me keep talking to you about Dr. Attia. All right. So, but he doesn't really promote any. He does have a venison stick that I love. Maui. I forgot the name of it. Maui something. They come. It's from deer that are harvested humanely in Hawaii, because they're so on the island of Maui, because they're so plentiful. They're overrunning the island and they're eating all the people's beautiful landscapes. So they do harvest those, but they harvest them humanely, whatever that means to you. Okay, so they're delicious, but they're a little bit expensive. But little tip, let me tell you, Paleo Valley now has a venison stick, and I love it. It says teriyaki flavor, but I don't notice that at all because I'm not a big fan of that. But it really is good, and it's a great thing to have. I gave it to a friend of mine that came and visited us this week to talk to us about insurance, Medicare, Advantage, and all that stuff. Because James is 70, I'm 69, so we have to keep up with all that, you know. But he was like, "Whoa, this is perfect because you can have it in your car when it's hot or when it's cold. So it's a great snack to have. We take it when we go on trips, because, you know, when you get on an airplane, they're not going to bring you anything that's food, right? They're going to bring you poison. Basically, is what it is. All right, let me go over here and get this. I think it might be ready. And it's not too hot. So yeah, it's cooked pretty much. So what I can do now, let me just flip you around here and show you, is that is all cooked. So now what I could do, if I want it to be brown, which I do, I'm going around in circles here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I'm gonna put this in the oven for about 5 minutes. Actually, I think I'm gonna switch it over to broil. Might be making a mistake here, but I'm gonna try it. I'm going to switch it over to broil. I'm going to set the timer for 1 minute. There we go. Okay. Got that set. Okay, so Dr. Attia. The thing about Dr. Attia, he is a medical doctor, and he does a lot of research, a lot of reading articles. He has a podcast called The Drive, which you can watch for free on any podcast spot. But he also has a Ask Me Anything podcast where people have put in questions and he answers them. Okay, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing to be aware of. So you could Google and scroll and search his podcast and find out what's his thoughts about cholesterol, because he has some definite thoughts about cholesterol that are different than probably your mainstream doctor. I've learned a lot about that. I found out I have familial hypercholesteremia, so my cholesterol is high, and I'm doing what I need to do to bring it down, and my last lab results were excellent, by the way, so that's a good thing. Let me see what this is. Not quite ready. We'll go 1 more minute. Okay, You got to have to watch that timer because you definitely don't want burnt eggs. I don't like browned eggs, but I do like it browned. And I could put some cheese on the top of that just to make it a little cheesier. But I think I'll pass. I think I'll pass on that. Okay, so I've still got this other over here I've got to do, but I'll do that when we get off here. So he actually has a medical clinic, but to be a client of his, because when you see that 60 Minutes, you'll see the stoutness of his program. He does carry tests. He does a lot of different tests, but to be his patient, it's $100,000 a year. So he does have, you don't have to have many of those patients that's all you can have, but he does a lot of research, which I appreciate that. But anyway, he was on there, and he's on 60 Minutes, and this is perfect, y'all. Perfect. So this is how I'd want it to look if I was taking it somewhere. So you see it's a little browned. I could have gone a little bit more on this end, but I'm gonna leave well enough alone. What do you think? Hit the love button if you think that's what I need to do. All right, let me see. I'm gonna get a little bowl over here, and I'm gonna dip out some and let you just see how creamy and soft this is. You see my hand shaking. I have that essential trimmer, so it's going to be with me, but I have had a little bit of coffee this morning, so it does make me. All right, so I'm going to let that cool a little bit. But this is you can put this in bites. You could put it in those make little bites with those little muffin pans, you know. You could do, and then freeze it and pull it out. This is better definitely than your Starbucks. I even bought some of those bites at Costco, and when I got home and read all the ingredients in them, I'm like, Nancy, why did you do that? You didn't need to do that. You could have just made them and made them a lot healthier. So, but I guess it is better than eating, a Debbie cake or a donut or whatever. Although I will have those occasionally, just very occasionally. Here we go. That's perfect, and James is going to love it. And you know what makes it really good to me? Is taking that little extra time to do the sausage. And you could do bacon. I'm not a bacon fan, so I will do it for James, and I will eat it, but it's just not my favorite thing. But I do love sausage. So there you go. That's that. So I'm going to make another one. And you know what? I think I'm going to put it in the little bites, because then I could just grab a couple and take to work. Probably 3 bites would be what I would take to work. Okay, so y'all come back later this afternoon. But where was I going? Let me finish. I am going to come back this afternoon, but let me finish where I was going. So you're hearing a lot. Let me turn off. Oh, it's off. You're hearing a lot about longevity and what Dr. Atia talks about is the last decade. And so I'm 69. I don't know how long I'm going to live. I mean, I'm good with 80, 85, maybe 90. But I'm not so good with that if somebody's got to be helping me. I mean, I will receive it, but it's not my choice. And God knows that, okay? Just like my mom. The last 2 years she lived with me, or 3 years, and for several years before that, she had Alzheimer's. And it was my pleasure and my joy to take care of her. And she was easy because she was tiny. I could lift her. I could move her. But, and it wasn't a burden. And I won't be a burden to my children. They will take care of us. I know they will. But I don't want to do that. I want to be moving. And so her back collapsed. She was in terrible pain. I think that pain is what caused a lot of her Alzheimer's. But at that stage, she was, really too old to go through 8 hours of surgery, because we did go to the doctor and he said that. And so we did the best we could, but that's why I'm exercising, okay? And, I posted that I have 3 workout videos for $7 that you can buy to get started. And it just takes a band and a little bit of weight. So that's what I'm keying on in my program now. Yes, we're losing weight. I got a text yesterday from a woman. She's lost, I think, 15 pounds. Another one's lost 20. Another's lost 7. These are women 65 and older, okay? And they're so happy about it because their clothes are fitting better and they're feeling stronger. But the main thing I'm pushing for them and encouraging them to do is strength training. So eating good is important. Good sleep is important. Nutrition is great. I was just looking to see where my water was. Water is good. Taking creatine is really important. 5 to 10 grams of creatine a day is what I take to build my muscle and to help my brain. But you got to get stronger muscle. And if I didn't have my shirt on, I'd show you. I've got so much more muscle than I had, and it's because I'm doing workouts that are harder, okay? You can't just be doing, that's not going to get it. And so strong is the new skinny. And we want to live long, but we want to live stronger. And after 60, we fall off the cliff as far as our muscle strength. And so unless you're building muscle, you are losing muscle, and I see it every day. I've told y'all about the client that I recently had that sat in the wheelchair for 6 months waiting on surgery, and by the time she had it, she was so weak. Now she's walking on a walker. And she's like, I thought I'd be able to walk after the surgery. I'm like, well, I don't know who told you that, but obviously they don't understand. Obviously they don't understand how much muscle mass you lose starting at 60 for most people. And I know for me, I had a major surgery at 65. I didn't exercise for 12 weeks, and I was weak as water when that was over. If I had been 55, that wouldn't have happened. I would not have lost that much muscle, but at 65, and so I had to start over from scratch building muscle, and I did, and now I feel like I'm as strong as ever. My core is strong. My back is so much better. My arms, I'm lifting, I'm carrying, I'm doing my own yard work. So when I get off of this, eat my breakfast, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to come back. I'm going to do a workout. I record workouts for my group. So they have workouts that they can do, and they're easy. They're 20 minutes, but we use heavier weights. So probably for most of you, you start with 5 pounds. One of my girls went and bought her weights this week. She said, I got 6 pounds. I'm like, good. That's better than 3. Those little 3-pound weights, they're just not going to get it for you. Okay, so I am offering a new challenge. I'd love to hear from you. If you want to get on the phone, we'll chat a few minutes about how it works and what works, and I can send you more information. I'll put a link below for more information about it, and I'll also put the link for the workouts because I want you to have those for $7. I mean, you know, I think you're worth that, yeah. So I've had about, 300 people buy that link, and I hope they're doing it. I hope they're doing it because they're not hard workouts, but they're very simple, and well, they are hard, but it's really based on how much weight you use. All right, so y'all have a good morning. God bless you. Here's what I want to say to you. What are you making space for in your life? What I see as a life coach and a health coach is people are making space for lack. They're making space for depression. And I know sometimes that can be clinical. I have firsthand experience with that. They're making space for resentment. They're making space for, you say, what are people making space for? Well, what you make space for, you're going to have. And so you got to push that back. Just like this morning, I said, okay, God, I'm going to push back this, sit on the couch and do nothing. I'm going to get up and do a recording because there's some people out there that need some help. And so that's what I'm here for. So let's make space. Let's push back all the negativity, okay? The devil sits on your left shoulder because he's never right. Kick him to the curb. Push back that negativity. 2 Peter 1:3 says you have everything you need for life and godliness. That means everything. And so let's rejoice in it and have a great day. Tell me where you're watching from and hit the love button before you leave, okay? I'm going to give you a second to do that. I'm going to let you hit the love button and tell me where you're watching from. And I'll see you a little bit later on this afternoon. It'll be, let's see, it's 11 now. Might be even a little later because we're having a late breakfast. So it may be 4 or 5. But there you go. Talk to you soon. I see your loves and likes. Thank you so much. All right, let's see if I got some new ones down here at the bottom. New folks that I haven't seen. Pat, there we are. Wanda, Karen, Diane, Terry, DK, Dima. Thank you all.